I'm going to try and get through five poems. I'm going to start with the one that I did the day that I was last here. And it's not as relevant as it was, obviously. It's very political, policy moves quickly, but there's still nuggets in there that are very prescient. It's called We Gotta Stack Chips, and that's the way it is. That was the case. It's been 10 years, maybe 11 now. Since, has anything changed? Probably not. We gotta ride buses or else we might freeze to death. Tell a PM and they'll turn Martin Jeff. You're working for a real terms pay cut while food prices rising and landlords renting dumps. I'm sick. I got spores in the air, asthma cases rising, threefold every year, mold in the corners of unfit housing, internet dropping out so no one's browsing. We spitting vitriol but no one gives a damn because the people in power hold millions in their hands or maybe billions. But it's all unfathomable. Interview for a second job working in a lunch hall school where the buildings are a state and children haven't got enough fresh food for their plate. We thank Marcus, but we know who's to blame for the intellectual drain. How do you foster dreams if you can't fuel a brain? It's a shame. Nah, it's a fucking travesty. Or numb to the reality thinking this is how it has to be. It's your own damn fault if you haven't any bread, because you're a feckless bum when you observe what you get. If I was on your wage, I'd be shopping at Sainsbury's. It must be you can't budget, don't know about basics. There's this aisle in the back where everything's reduced. Should be using that if you're struggling for food. Like the yellow sticker can change a life. Who doesn't want refried beans in packs of 5? Children at home again, COVID turns to rack, another problem faced that government can't hack. Aerated concrete, it sounded like crap, looked up the definition and almost spat. That doesn't sound right, let me read that back. Bubbly, porous concrete, prone to sudden collapse. 7 hours a day our kids spend in school, and this is what we've got for the roofs and the walls. Top kids a grand. School shut for months, got kids with ground because a cheaper variant was chosen with a limited lifespan and expected to last for hundreds of years, while refusing to acknowledge letters expressing fears. Empty suits, empty platitudes, not one's got a handle, but they all are tools. Tooling about, doing the media rounds, never sharing opinions, too scared of the sound. Scoffing at questions is the new defense, eaten, educated, but willfully dense, squirming, uncomfortable, searching for pretense, hence, it's Asaka that's not making sense. The system is rigged if you're the poor or the young because the rich have been rich before our lives begun. In the 80s and 90s, they acquired their assets and it hasn't been contested because we're run by fascists, desperate for the middle class to be an unattainable goal for anyone working in any class below. Wealth hoarded by a few, ladder pulled up out of you. The mindset is simple, anyone but you. When you cut your way to growth with a capitalistic mentality, the poor stay broke and it fails fantastically. All succeeds if your MO is greed and trickle-down economics is what you believe. It's what they do, they be robbing man daily. Every letter through my door translated says, pay me. All to the chorus of a housing crisis where landlords got their feet up watching money pouring in and we ain't got a damn cup. Comfier mansions costing millions, no tax on the greed, so soon to be billions. Oh wait, it's a very billions, well, trillions there. Made from the ruins of us, generation rent. Ruins of buildings in North Kensington, buildings up in flames and some saw from their window. Negligence, no shame, integrity down at a new low. Another government's shitstorm, a day in the news. While families and friends say waiting for truth. Inquisition's inquiries of cladding wasn't fit for the purpose of a building housing families for them to live, but no one bears a brunt, not one in a cell. The response was pathetic when we saw Grenfell. It's hardcore, but that's life in England, and it goes for the whole United Kingdom. I've fallen out of love with this place that I'm living, because right now, there ain't nothing great about Britain. Thank you. It is Black History Month. And I want to do a piece from a book that was produced by Black and White, a company that every year they do a competition where you can write in about your experiences growing up in a country where you are the global majority, but seen as a minority. And this piece is about me working in a job knocking on doors and getting a very horrible old man respond to me as an 18-year-old. It's called Take It Where. Wow. Oh no, I thought I opened right to it. My first job ever lasted just under 4 weeks, knocking doors. Many stayed closed, the rest I didn't reach. One door, his door, I'm still paying rent for. Don't worry, I'm not as bad as I look. Rehearsed words freed from full lips, finally not facing doors closed. Countenance contorts, mouth agape, eyebrows lower, cruel words emanate. Stood blankly in my tabard, fundraising for the deaf, but no one should have to hear what was said on that front step. I chuckle at the absurdity, or to stop myself from screaming. They say it's not as bad as it's been, but sorry if I'm not believing. Words understood, yet asinine, nonsensical, come from a closed mind, aged but inflexible, correct in grammar, prosody and syntax. It's not even the meaning I struggle to catch. It's temerity, the flippancy of which it was spoken, as if prattling of facts, edicts, or cozy held notions, brazen, brash, bold-faced, blatant, whittled down my character to one single foolish statement. One look at me and you decided my worth. Young black boys only deserve to be hurt. Instead of hearing my words, you made your own word weapons. You missed all my traits, you deduced me in seconds. Self-aware, patient, empathetic, caring, kind, razor-sharp wit, nephew, cousin, friend, son, English, Jamaican, Barbadian. Missed all my traits, deduced me in seconds. Instead of hearing my words, you made your own words weapons. Maybe I don't have the words to otherwise convince, so your audacity will stay paired with your ignorance. I asked for a donation, but you volunteered something else, a pin to burst my bubble, show me the ills of the world. I chuckle at the absurdity, or to stop myself from screaming. Silent alarm brings in my shock, warned since birth, yet still I forgot. Words understood remain nonsensical, but if I responded in kind, my actions would be deemed indefensible. Reprehensible, a slave to systemic double standards, so I hold my tongue and refrain from the candid. Sweat grooves in my palms because to dance is my culture. Missteps backwards, missteps forwards, memories swirl unprovoked as I try to locate calm. Harmless, but harm from mouth with sharp tongue. I've heard words do not hurt, but these words had not come. The hurt was not physical, but these words were not gentle, and now I stand at this front door, untying knots in my mental, because I resent myself. I resent that I can feel like this. I resent that I can be made to feel like this. I resent that I can be made to feel like this by someone, anyone. I resent that I can be made to feel like this because of the color of my skin. And shockingly, in this moment, I don't even resent him. I resent feeling torn about telling my mum. I resent futures for children that are yet to come. I resent failings in education. I resent no changes in education. I resent corporations whose actions show compliance, stirring up confidence for the minority to break silence. I resent flat-out denial. I resent turning the other cheek. I resent unwillingness to accept. I resent knowing this will repeat. I resent that I cannot grow large and bang at your closing door, my giant voice bellowing, I won't take this no more. Instead, like too many before who silently go on, I left trying to figure out what I had done wrong. So, while I was away for 9 months, I went back to the birthplace of my grandmother in Barbados, and I felt I wanted to go there and have this, oh wow, I'm super close, and this is a part of me that I really understand and know and can identify with really clearly. And that wasn't the case. I felt a lot of disconnect and had a lot of, I guess, a crisis of identity, essentially. And so I wrote this piece. It was meant to be like me exploring all the idioms and all the things that she would say as I was growing up. but it turned into something much more about my identity and my closeness to Barbados, or lack thereof. It's got a lot of her idioms in it, and I'm gonna try and say them as she would have said them, but we may not manage that. It's called You Can't Hear, You Must Feel. Grandma was a poet, more so than me. Mum got some of the wisdom, but Nanny was real poetry. Her lines alive long after her death will reach grandchildren's ears as I pass down what was said. English, the first and only language she spoke, but Bayesian flowed smooth like chimney smoke. Caribbean lilt dripping from her lips, English accent swallowed like plantain chips. The higher the monkey climb, the more he show his tail. And Nanny get vexed, the more the Queen's English fail. Lyrical twang when she reach her grandfather passion. Intonation rising as sable faces turn ashen. The same faces get 2 licks, and I'm not talking tongue lashing. So listen carefully, it may not come as easy as you imagine. In my youth, I tackled the code. Every fool got his sense, so some I did get. Most stayed blurry, hazy, unknown, but to admit any struggle with illicit relatives groans, relatives moans, relatives get vexed and cheers, they're torn. Relatives do everything before telling and showing, relatives giggling. When you're older, you'll get a clue. Cheese on bread, man, I'm not in the mood. Unpicking phrasing built on animals and food. He stay out liming, cat don't make dog. Ideas hidden in simile and metaphor. 1 smart dead at 2 smart door. Ideas hidden in metaphor and simile. Catching most words, but meaning missing me. Goes in one ear, comes out garbled and mash up. Ignorant, feeling I wasn't brought up, but drag up. Thinking culture was locked in phonology and lexicon that I tried to obtain with a change in inflection. Adolescent attention did slide like oil in the pan. Now I tick off black British, but speak words of a white man. Hard-as boy trying to chip his stone away, not black enough because of how I lived my yesterdays. Vulnerability seeps in, reflecting on my background. Didn't breathe this lifestyle, yet I seek to be bound, tethered and immersed. Though in no sun did I lounge, in no crystal sea did past me swim about. Few steps of mine did ever even reach Bridgetown. Like flying fish, trying to prove he fish. I was more than too licorice to rescue my heritage, eating up my culture with greedy appetite because cuckoo questions didn't bubble in my mind. A love for planting you couldn't bake, boil or fry. I couldn't cook up buller bread nor interested to try. Instead, curiosity goes stale like hard old bread. My connection to Barbados thinning like the roots in my head. I take a 6 for a 9 on many occasions and took that to mean my inside was Caucasian, like the bounty they always labeled me. Coconut still stuck in me at 33. You look black enough to me, response when I asked mum, and any protesting, I had too much of what the cat licking ears with. So I don't know what sweet and goat mouth and bunny tail, which is currently coalesced with an idea I have failed, living truly as a Caribbean black man, not making sport, but refuting the fact that is actually what I am. Nanny said, don't let people put shit in your mouth and tell you it's butter. My teeth are... Nanny said, don't let people put shit in your mouth and tell you it's butter. My teeth are brown by believing my blackness is other. I never catch all, but I must have catch some because I grew up in a household with grandmothers, aunties and mum, where who would never doubt the blackness of their nephew, grandson or son, because I could never say come in and not hear. Stop coming and come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my cousin. I am going to do this one I haven't done in a long time. I wrote this one when I started living alone and realized that I wasn't very good at it. There's a lot that you kind of expected to know how to do, and I wasn't up for the challenge. It's called I'm Too Old to Be This Dry at Life. And if you identify with anything, please join in with the refrain. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I hate taking off my clothes and having to find somewhere to put them.
Ron, I'll stop right there, please.
Please, just for a moment,
Y'all need to let that settle in, because that's so fucking truthful. It's unreal. Like, start that again, please.
Yeah,
oh
just
my
one
God.
time.
Let's do it together. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I hate taking off my clothes and having to find somewhere to put them. I don't work at my desk. It is just a place to put letters I'm too scared to open. I tried to do press up daily, ended up with an inflamed sternum. I cancelled my gym membership through my bank because I couldn't face seeing Eddie again. He did my orientation. We bonded. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I don't answer the phone if I don't recognise the number. I don't answer the phone if I do recognise the number. I don't answer the door. I shout out the window as they're leaving. I thought you were coming to see if I was watching iPlayer. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I use E for every wash on the washing machine. My clothes still come out smelling on occasion. I only remember to pay BT when YouTube tells me to check my connection. I spend upwards of half an hour on an email, still to only hope it finds them well. I'm too old to be this dry at life. My scrambled egg often has shell in it. I have pesto terrariums in the back of my fridge. I write to-do list on my to-do list so I can cross it off and treat myself. Sometimes I still make decidedly bland pasta. My candles don't melt evenly. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I only became confident using punctuation when I was 24. I put yoga videos on my TV in the morning to get me out of bed. I fall asleep to yoga videos on my TV in the morning in bed. Oh, hang on. I don't drink coffee for fear of addiction. I'm too old to be this dry at life. I freeze bread, but buy more bread because who looks in a freezer for bread? I don't have a TV license. I cycled to Canterbury to see a Stalin murmuration. There was one in Walthamstow. My aunt got me a book on boundaries. I didn't want it, but I didn't know how to say no. I create duality to justify idiocy. That's something future Niam will have to fix. Thank you. Time for two more? One more?
Yes.
Hang on, actually, I'll do this one instead. This one isn't what I typically write, but I got back from my travels, and one of the first bits of news I heard was about Keir Starmer saying he was going to charge us when it was hot and we needed water. So he's going to do a hose pipe, essentially, but not ban, but he's going to charge us more when it's really hot and we need to use the water. So I wrote this, and it's about actually I'm just going to read it. It's called Thames Water Flow. A rarity for heat to wave so intensely intensified for frequent lament we tend to see and hear discord ubiquitous on unglamorous weather. Almost our culture, the wetter, the better. Standing in rain, dying to complain to the stranger at a bus stop who's happy to play the game, do the dance and hit the beats. These poor road streets, can't catch a break, they might spring a leak. And though it may seem silly for concrete to burst, the pipes that lay below have undergone much worse. Because in this country, we don't own our water, sunshine. Margaret Thatcher made sure of that back in 1989, washing her hands of the failing infrastructure, polluted rivers and pipes about to rupture. No government money to fund the restructure, and if you raise taxes, could be a Labour interruption to this 10-year dynasty of Conservative control that hasn't done anything about pipes over 100 years old. In fact, overseeing deterioration so much so that as well as untreated waste and putrid water flow, a quarter of treated water wasn't even reaching our homes. So privatization was deemed the answer. You don't need me to tell you that was a disaster. Believing only this sector could afford the investment needed, investors overseeing means management unimpeded. No more red tape or government bureaucracy, free market efficiency, shareholder democracy. But what we got instead was brinkmanship. Instead of democracy, there was quickly dictatorship. A new pressure for profits did not bring accountability, just greedy individuals and rampant delinquency. Thames had been left to get into considerable debt, which is why the Treasury had long refused to invest. That faceless arm of UK government whose hypocrisy veered so sharply from previous intransigence. No borrowing for Thames, that'll increase inflation, leading to higher debt for this marvellous nation. I already spoke about the dynasty, we're not raising bills, so if pipes are bursting, that is simply God's will. Post-war mentality, I get the fiscal restraint, but funding repairs and tax cuts are not in the same vein. Almost 40 years of keeping powder dry for financial responsibility to vanish in the blink of an eye. Writing off the debt to the tune of 5 billion, money from our parents that they never saw again. Thames sold on the low, Sid spent a few quid just as Maggie had imagined make it attractive for the rich. And before long, the inexperienced got bought out by the gentry. Sophisticated bankers didn't suffer fools gently. Massive corporations saw risk-free profit, all because of Thatcher, the filthy little gobshit. Because the private market would have never touched the industry without the massive outlay in form of public subsidy. 30 years later, and we're in a much worse state, 5 billion has become 15.8. But it is what comes next that will have your mouth agape, culminating in us still losing the same sum of water every day. 600 million litres. I couldn't fathom it at all. But it could fill the equivalent of London's swimming pools 3 times. 9 billion cups of tea, 100 million toilets flushed, 4 million bars filled and 24,000 tanker trucks. 9.2 million showers if less than 8 minutes. But if these numbers, I just can't believe they're dismissing. 1.7 million households, 4 million people a day. If you still can't fathom it, just know it's a fucking disgrace. All right, I'll leave you with this. Sad one, actually. I should have done it sooner. My friend lost his mum a couple of weeks ago, and I lost mine just over 4 years now. And obviously it's difficult, it's really hard. I think writing has been really beneficial for helping me process it, understand it. I don't think I'll ever accept it, but to be more able to understand and journal my thoughts. And it's kind of what I was hoping to come here and plug my night, but I don't have a location for it at the moment, so we're still working on that. But my night is called Wellbeing of Words, where I try and share the power of writing for well-being and using your writing as a way to understand what you're going through, to support you, to share, to be in a community around people that also have something to say and are willing to hear what you have to say, and really build a spiritual spot for people to share and think and understand one another. And this poem is...
Where can people follow you?
BSP_EOTF. I know it's ridiculous. It's long. It's an old one. But come and find me and I'll write it out for you. But yeah, this piece is me kind of trying to understand and observations about what it's like when people aren't necessarily sure how to interact with you after you have lost someone and the grief that you are going through. It's called No One Teaches You How to Grieve. No one teaches you how to grieve. There's not a manual you receive on the day you lose a loved one and are suddenly bereaved. You don't get a ring-bound notebook or a hardback in the mail. You're left to your own devices and it's your fault if you fail. There's no revision aid to quickly cram before you face your peers or a life-changing little wristband that you wear to hold back tears. You can't learn when to go back to work and what to say to your associates or what to say to what they say because they're usually just as hopeless. You can't be told to answer the phone even when you'd rather not, or how to say I'd rather be alone because that's all the energy I've got. There's no PhD on DVD discussing the cognitive dissonance between being okay but not feeling okay because of what you're now living with, between having a drink but not needing a drink, seeing those two things are quite different, being between meaningful expression that looks like depression because it's not floods of tears. It's no less feeling this stoicism that you're seeing, tears might not come for years. It's not fiction I speak, although it sounds bleak, no one teaches you how to grieve, so you do what you must, don't feel no way for taking what you need. Thank you.